Ready Devil. Big time. Daley College Bulldogs. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, to Mr.
Hey.
That's what's up, man. Hey, I like bringing you on the stage, right? Because here's the interesting part. We get a chance to talk to students from our lands. This is a different time. It's a different angle, right? And so as we talked about in the pre-production, guys, let's talk, right? So let's jump right in. Christopher, let's start with you.
Okay.
What advice would you like to share with individuals trying to decide which higher education institution to attend? In particular, colleges. What advice would you like to give?
Well, so I'm gonna give a little story to go along with my advice. So personally, for me, I graduated top 3 in my class in Bogan High School, and so for me, like, going off to a 4-year university was the big thing that a lot of my counselors wanted me to do. Like, oh, you should go here, you should go here. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to go here. But I wasn't receiving enough money. So luckily for me, Daley College, they were giving me a full ride from the STAR Scholarship. So I was like, this could definitely be an option for me. So what I would really want to say to you guys is, don't let people determine where you should be going. You should be going where you guys want to go that makes you feel comfortable, like where you fit in, where you feel like you belong. And at that moment in time, I felt like going off to community college before I went off to a 4-year university was really the best decision for me. So really with my first semester at Daley, I really got to see, like, coming in second semester, a lot of those students who I graduated with started coming back from those 4-year universities and then started building up that debt. So if you guys have a chance to come to City College, whether it's Daley College, Olive Harvey, Truman, I would highly suggest it.
My man, Chris, let me back up a little bit, and I apologize that I didn't give you the proper introduction. Chris Petty is a STAR Scholar. And for those of you all who are listening, let's make sure STAR Scholar is a program where with a B average as a CPS graduating senior, you receive free tuition. You receive 3 free years of tuition to complete a 2-year degree. Is that correct, Chris?
Correct.
So
correct.
What Chris is referring to, ladies and gentlemen, is the STAR Scholarship and the decisions he had to make around finance. So I appreciate that, right? And we'll talk about that. We'll get a little bit more in depth with that. Ms. Carey.
So for me, it was really, money was the biggest deciding factor in any of my decisions. So I come from a family of 6, so it's not only just me. So with a lot of these schools I was getting accepted into, I was still gonna be in debt. There was a lot of money that I still needed to pay just out of pocket that weren't covered by my scholarships. So luckily through the STAR Scholarship, CCC I felt like was my best option. Personally, I didn't feel like I was ready to go off to a 4-year university. I felt like I just need a little room to transition in between high school straight into college, going straight into college. So I felt like Daley was really there for me, helping me with that transition into college and setting me up for success to be able to transfer out going into the fall, actually.
Excellent. And so where are you now in your educational journey?
So for me personally, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find out what's my next move. What school am I going to now? Honestly, I got a few choices that I'm still trying to decide. I still haven't made my decision yet. I have a potential full ride at Elmhurst College. I also have a potential full ride at Jackson State through the Phi Theta Kappa, which is the honor society on campus.
Yes.
I also have a few options through Illinois Tech as well as Northern Illinois through the STAR Scholarship. So right now for me is, where do I want to go? That's just my next decision. Do I want to be close to home? Do I want to be in Mississippi? Because whenever I tell people about Jackson State, they're like, all the way in Mississippi from Chicago? Why? It's just like, so it's like, for me, it's just like, well, if it's free, it's a free experience that I get to explore. So it's really all about finding myself.
Don't underestimate that the power of the HBCU either. It has the ability to change your life in different ways. Alex, earlier this week to talk with all of your presidents. Shouts out to Daley Bulldog president, Truman president, Olive Harvey president, and they spoke some of the same sentiments. So it's interesting, right? We're not in the same room, but to get the same feeling from President Hollingsworth, and President Jagnowski, and President Jackson around the experience, right? And so with that said, Chris, what resources have you found extremely helpful that you would like to share with listeners? What resources are there that you would like to share?
So my number one resource for me is actually my academic advisor. That's probably the one thing that I've used the most since coming into Daley, and honestly, all our staff is amazing. Working as a Star Ambassador, I've gotten to build friendships with my academic advisor. Literally just all staff and faculty around campus. I just be walking around and be like, "Hey, Chris," just get the waving along. But academic advising, that was my go-to. Building a relationship with my advisor. She's the one who's been helping me walk into my schools that I really need to transfer into, what classes I should be taking. At one point, I even had to drop a class, and she was there to this is the steps that you should be taking. Here's the steps that you should be taking to transfer. She's literally been there for everything since day one.
Excellent. And so we'll shift a little bit. I'm a proud father of a set of 21-year-old twins. They are college bound. They're in universities. They're actually home now. And one of the things my daughter and I talk quite a bit, she says she's tired of talking about what's going on right now. Right? So let's shift a little bit. She says she's just tired of it. It's not that big of a deal in terms of the adjustment that she has to make. Now, that's how she feels. Talk to me about the adjustment that you've had to make going to this virtual remote learning modality, right? Talk to me. I know earlier you mentioned, Ms. Carr, you don't have a computer. I'll start with you, Alexandria. What are some of these to this virtual platform? How's it work for you?
So for me, school-wise, it's been an effortless transition. It feels easier taking them online than it is taking them in class. So for me, school-wise, I'm doing well actually. But from a work standpoint, it's been kind of a rough transition because normally I'm on campus 25/8. I always got something to do. I'm always running around. So for me, just having to sit down in my house all day, not being able to really move around, that's been the hardest thing for me. So I've kind of been keeping myself occupied after I'm done with my homework just to get on the game. But the game can only satisfy me for so long. I really need to get around move.
So that's interesting, right? We talk about the game. We talk about the game. We talk about some other things. What are you guys doing outside of work? Ms. Carr, what are you doing
around the school? So we really like to highlight a lot of cultural aspects from all our perspectives. Just make it feel more diverse, make everybody feel comfortable. But personally, after I'm done with classes, I normally grab me something to eat, and then I'm right off to work as a Star Ambassador. I'm running around. My boss, Rafael Godina, shout out to him. He's always got me running around doing something, whether it's him asking me to grab him a bottle of water or just literally having I was like his errand boy at one point, always having me run around doing something.
He gonna get you for that.
I know.
Shout out to Godina. What's up, man?
But yeah, so I mean, literally, there's always a project for us to do on campus. Me and the other Star Ambassadors. It's never a dull day. We always got something to do, and then if we don't have anything to do, we have something create something for ourselves, just to keep ourselves busy.
That's excellent. The other thing that I continue to hear you guys, and I'll continue to bring it back, right? Because I want listeners to know how often you mention the people that you work with, how often you mention your advisor or your teacher, or in your instance, Ms. Carey, your director, Danica Wilson, Director Godina, right? Director of Enrollment Management there at Daley. It's interesting, right? Those ties, some of the relationships you'll never forget. All right, we're going to run through a few of these questions because they're coming in to this virtual platform. How's it work for you?
So for me, school wise, it's been an effortless transition. It feels easier taking them online than it is taking them in class. So for me, school wise, I'm doing well actually. But from a work standpoint, it's been kind of a rough transition because normally I'm on campus 25/8. I always got something to do. I'm always running around. So for me, just having to sit down in my house all day, not being able to really move around, that's been the hardest thing for me. So like I've kind of been keeping myself occupied like after I'm done with my homework just to get on the game. But the game can only satisfy me for so long. I really need to get around like move.
So that's interesting, right? We talk about the game. Um, we talk about the game. We talk about some other things. What are you guys doing outside of work, Ms. Carr? What are you doing? And that plan, obviously, right? That plan doesn't always go exactly the way we want it, but through some of the things that you talk about, some of the friendships you built, some of the resources that you use. What's happening now is I'm hearing success, and I will tell you, nothing just happens without some obstacles. And so I appreciate you